Hey Tube, what's happening? Chris here. Wanted to bring you guys another tutorial, one I've been studying, looking at, spending a little bit of time on are these wedges, and what we're going to be going over today is the ascending broadening wedge. I think this is a very important one to have in your toolbox. You know how we always talk about having your tool belt or your toolbox, and these chart patterns are what you want to put in there. It's so very important to understand these chart patterns and what happens with these chart patterns so that when you see them starting to play out, you have a better idea of predicting which way the market may break. Like this one here, guys, the ascending broadening wedge, 73% of the time breaks bearish. So that's something you want to keep in mind when we're moving up like this. And what you're going to see is this top trend line is always going to slope higher than this one here. So this is going to be steeper on top, and this is going to be more shallow at the bottom. That's something that you're looking for. So it's almost like a megaphone tilted up. And guys, what I'm getting this information out of here, this is the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns by Thomas Bulkowski. And just each chart pattern he devotes, I'd say probably 15 to 20 pages just on how this performs, breakout rates, failure rates, throwback rates, what the volume trend is, all different types of things. But we're talking 16 to 20 pages worth of information that he's broken down on each pattern. And I think there's like 70 different patterns in here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going through them with you guys. And I hope that you really learn something. I'm trying to educate myself the best that I can. And I want to bring as many people as I can with me. You know, the people who are watching this video are the people who really want to help themselves and really want to learn. So I'm proud of each and every one of you who really is watching this video and taking notes and saying, hey, I'm going to get better. I'm going to look up the ascending broadening wedge on Google, look at these patterns and really dig into it. It can really help you down the road, guys. So next thing about this, like we said, prices are going to follow the two upsloping trend lines. 73% of the time, once this pattern is complete, it's going to break to the downside just like it did here. All right, 73% of the time. So that still means that it can break up the 27% of the time. And that's something that you always have to keep in the back of your head as well, that these patterns are never going to play out perfectly. There's always, you know, a 20 or 30% chance it's going to break the opposite way, or you're going to have false breakouts, all different types of things. These just give you clues so you can start adding up indicators and different things and say, hey, I'm bullish or I'm bearish, and basically plan out what you're going to do from there. So on this, the average rise is 38%. The volume trend is irregular to sometimes upward. So he said the volume can be very sporadic with this pattern, but typically, if it's not super sporadic, it will be more upward tilting. Throwbacks happen 50% of the time. So always remember that. So like here, guys, where we broke down and then we pulled back onto that line before going farther, 50% of the time it will do that. So once it starts to break out, it will come back, retest the trend line, and then either drop or rise, whichever way you're looking at this. So keep that in mind. 3 touches on each trend line is very important. So up here, you can see 1, 2, 3. We had about 4 touches. And down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches before the breakout. And what Bulkowski says is you want at least 3 touches to make it a valid pattern. So 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, 3 peaks, 3 of those valleys. So always remember that. That's really important because a lot of these patterns can break down, and you want basically to meet as much of the criteria as you're able to meet. We talked about the volumes irregular and the breakout 73% to the downside. So guys, those are the things that I'm looking at here for this ascending broadening wedge. Price is moving up. Remember, price is always going to move up. We're looking for the 3 touches. It's looking like a megaphone that's tilted up. The volume can be irregular. 73% of the time it can break to the downside. So always remember that. It's more of a bearish pattern, especially if we're moving up like this. So, you know, guys, say we're climbing. Most of the time we're going to have that fall, that breakout out of there, because a lot of the times you'll hit a high right here, then you'll come back down, then you'll fail to make a higher high, and that's kind of the sign for a lot of traders that they'll get out at that point. So keep your eye on this one. That's the Ascending Broadening Wedge. It's by Thomas Bulkowski. Guys, it's the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. It's about 1,000 pages, and I recommend it to everybody. It's about $100, but it is well worth it. If you start to see these patterns and they're playing out, it's really beneficial to have this information in your corner. So I'm doing the best I can to get it out to you guys. It's up to you to do whatever you want to do with it. I'm just here to throw it out there. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends.